I want to get your take on his comments first, and we'll get to your pick and your word of the day.
Oh, the recessionary comments? Don't get me started on that thought, because that's something the NBER always labels. And the fact that he said we could be in a recession at this point, I don't know. The SOM rule was supposed to trigger recessionary talk. Inverted yield curve way back in the day. We have GDP declining. We had 2 negative quarters of GDP in 2022. Everyone said 100% certainty on recession. So I won't jump in those waters. I'll let the NBER do it. But I know when it's finally labeled, you're halfway through it. So I'll let that go to the economists and the professionals. Are we on a path to a recession?
Okay.
Kinda. Yeah.
You're a glass half full kind of guy, in all fairness.
I try.
Yeah. Let's get to your word of the day. Is this word focused on today or just the general environment?
This word is focused on the general environment. When people ask you, where do you think the market's going from here? When people are giving guidance, the best thing right now is just to mumble. You kind of like, I think we're going up. I think we're at an interesting pivot point. I do have strong feelings on this market, don't get me wrong, but it is at an inflection point, and I think we are going to stumble going through the next quarter of earnings. We had this relief rally. The question is, can it continue? Look at Palantir today. Great earnings, good guidance. This is what we've been waiting for. Price action, boy, up 60% for the year, it gave some back. So there's going to be a lot of mumbling because of the uncertainty, and that's how I'm getting through things. But there's one person that won't mumble, and that's Jay Powell. So I can't wait to hear what he says
You're leading me
tomorrow.
to my next question. So when we're looking at this Fed decision coming up tomorrow, is there potential for upside, or do you see most of the potential for downside? I've been talking to a lot of strategists and traders. A lot of them feel like there's very little he could say to keep this rally going or move the market higher because there's so much uncertainty.
Yeah, I think downside is probably the way it's going to go. Why? Because he's straightforward. But what Jerome Powell are we going to get? We're going to get the one data point at a time, Jerome Powell, where we are at a point where if we were doing 100 basis points like they said back in December, maybe we could get a cut or set us up at least for a cut in June. But if we get we're still uncertain about tariffs, Jerome Powell, then that could cloud things, that could get murky. And then you talk about the integrity of the Fed. He's definitely not going to cut tomorrow because he doesn't want to look like he's giving in to the president. But he can set the narrative up that a cut is coming. But that will probably irk the markets because it's still uncertainty. And if he talks tariffs, then it throws the ball back into Trump's court. So it's an interesting thing to watch how it's going to shake out between his narrative and then any narrative that comes out of Washington to follow.
So I want to go to your wheelhouse for a second, the technicals. When we're looking at the technicals, we're seeing some changes of trends. Small caps is one thing that I've noticed. They moved above their 50-day moving average. Oh, you're pointing at me, so that's something you noticed too.
Yeah.
Is that a signal of something? Because obviously small caps are more domestically focused. Is that a signal of something about the economy that the GDP report that was showing contraction didn't show us, or are we seeing something different? I mean, what does that say?
I look at it more from a trading opportunity. The small caps are the one sector that have been beaten down so much, and we're starting to see that little bit of a turn. So to me, it's more of a relief rally. It's an opportunity where if you're looking for a rotation into a sector that has been beaten down, you got it. We got it in tech and discretionary, the 2 worst performing sectors of the year, with a ridiculous relief rally, and now we're at a nice level. There are certain tech stocks that I like that could continue, or on a dip you want to buy. But, the Russell, the small caps, they're a little oversold, and you may get a nice little relief rally over the few weeks.
By the way, for people watching at home, it's just a tick above the 50-day moving average. It's not a big outsized move above. It's just a very small tick. All right, we got to get to your pick. What is your pick for today?
Yeah, I like software. I like ServiceNow. ServiceNow is a stock that in its January report, it gave some guidance, and it got beaten as a result of it. It fell 43%. It went from 1,200 to 700. The stock has just rallied back. It's rallied back nicely, so you may be missing a big chunk of this move, but over the long term, I think their story is intact. Bill McDermott's on CNBC later today. Can't wait to hear what he says. But the AI story is something you have to watch there. The software stocks, if you're playing tech, I think the IGV and ServiceNow are 2 areas you want to be. Risk reward is good.